While it seems like new designs for firearms has kind of leveled out, there are a lot of different calibers that have come up over the past few years that have really proven to be exceptional. And one of those is 6.5 Grendel. Based off of the old Soviet 220 Russian caliber, it's a intermediate cartridge between the 5.56 and the 308, and yet ballistically it even has advantages over the 308, up to about 1,200 yards. Really, this cartridge was designed by Alexander Arms back in 2003, so it does have a pretty decent history, and it's becoming more and more popular, especially when a lot of the standard ammo companies have been releasing the ammo. We're going to do a test, we're going to do a build with the Odin Works barrel, bolt carrier group, and other accessories on a 2A Armament Balios Light receiver. This is going to be a pretty premium build, but it's just a lot of fun. And this caliber is worth the effort. Now here are all the parts before the build. We're using a number of different parts, but a lot of Odin Works specific parts because they make it for the 6.5 Grendel. And of course, first is the stainless steel 20-inch barrel. It's a heavy barrel. Odin Works makes really beautiful barrels. In fact, one of my favorite 5.56 barrels, which is actually a 223 Wild barrel, which is really the best of 223 and 5.56. Now, I've done a video about the advantages of the 223 Wild. Still shoot standard. You can shoot either 223 or 5.56 ammo in it. Also with one of the Odin Works bolt carrier groups, which we're going to need, and also one of the adjustable gas blocks by Odin Works. And then one of their 15.5-inch O2 light M-lock free float handguards. And this is a really lightweight, very strong, beautiful designs in here. I'm really looking forward to putting this on the rifle, especially with the heavy barrel. So it's going to counteract a little bit. The gas tube also. But as far as the receivers, I'm going with the 2A Armament, and this is the Balios Light receivers. These are very beautiful billet receivers. In fact, one of my favorite ARs of all time is one of the 2A Armament rifles because it is so lightweight and the quality is just unbelievable. It also has set screws, so you don't have to drive your roll pins here, and then back here with your takedown pin detent spring. There's also a small little Allen wrench. This makes it so much easier to install these parts. With the trigger guard built in, you don't have to worry about that roll pin either. But this thing is incredibly light and just beautiful. We're also using some of the 2A Armament titanium takedown pins. And we're going with the Magpul Stealth Gray Mo Fixed Stock and Mo Plus grip with the rubberized coating. Also Magpul Pro sights and the Alexander Arms 6.5 Grendel magazines. I ordered 2 of these, and then I had a 5-rounder as well. Now the 2A Armament Balios receiver set weighs 12.4 ounces. I mean, that is super light. And the Odin Works O2 Light M-lock handguard, 6.5 ounces. Then we're going to add the barrel nut, 9.1 ounces. Of course, the Odin Works bull barrel, 42.9 ounces. Your standard pivot pin and takedown pin, just 0.5 ounces. The 2A Armament titanium pins, 0.2 ounces. That may not seem like a whole lot, but there's a definite difference between these two. Now, I'm not going to go through the entire process of the build. I've done a number of those, and you can go, and I'll have some of those linked. This process will be pretty close. Unless it's something really particular, then I'll show it, but otherwise, we're going to go straight into just building this, and then really focus on the caliber and how this rifle performs. Now, here is the rifle complete, and there are a couple of things that I did add to the build. Of course, first thing I'm going to do is make sure the gun is unloaded. We're going to relieve the magazine, check the chamber, and it's empty. Now for a muzzle brake, I used one of the Witt Machine's threaded muzzle brakes, and this is in the 5/8 inch threads, which would be the same for your 308 instead of the 1/2 by 28, which they do make about any thread pitch you can imagine. This has really been an excellent brake, and you can already see the residue where I've already used it on this rifle. But a great recoil tamer. Also went with one of the BCM charging handles, and these gunfighter handles are just excellent. Now I did add one of the Bastion Gear laser engraved Infidel mag releases, and one of their USA dust covers. Now at the range, the rifle really was impressive. We were shooting at 100, 200, 300 yards, hitting steel with no problem. We were actually transitioning from one to the other. And this rifle was capable of doing whatever. And it's really made for those longer ranges. Now the one thing about 6.5 Grendel is that it is made as a surrogate, or really to match 308 velocities, but yet have a less of a recoil pulse. And it does. A little bit more than the 5.56, and I would really consider this more like a 300 Blackout, but with superior ballistics, especially in the longer ranges. Now we were getting over the 2,400 feet per second. In fact, I took my chronograph and we tested it. The first 2 rounds were duplicates. We were using American Eagle, and this is their match grade 6.5 120 grain bullet, and really it performed very well. One scene here, I'm shooting steel, and I started out at 100 yards, moved over to 200, and then finished out with 300. We were using the primary arms 1 to 8 second focal plane ACSS reticle scope, and if you've never used the ACSS reticle, it is exceptional. The bullet drop compensation that's etched onto the glass is second to none. In fact, Trijicon just put one on one of their ACOGs, and looks like they may be doing some others. So the reticle system in itself, which was designed by Dimitri at Primary Arms, is exceeding even beyond Primary Arms optics. But this second focal plane 1 to 8 is exceptional for the money, and using one of the American defense manufacturers' quick detach scope mounts, which I've really become fond of. They're reasonably priced, and yet they're really solid. Because of the Odin Works 20-inch stainless bull barrel, it does add a lot of weight to the rifle, but with the O2 Light Odin Works handguard, and then with the 2A Armament Balios Light receivers, it's a really light rifle in a sense for this size. Now this is the Witt Machine compensator, and definitely tames the recoil. Of course, there's a lot of ports on the side, and really perform well. We're going to be doing some more tests with this coming up. Now this is the 5.56, and then we have the 7.62 by 3.9, the 6.5 Grendel, then we have the 308 NATO, and the 6.5 Creedmoor. The 6.5 Grendel was really made as an intermediate between the 5.56 and the 308, overcoming a lot of the deficiencies with the 7.62 by 3.9. The 6.5 Grendel was actually designed after the 220 Russian, which was a hunting caliber that was the inspiration for the 7.62 by 3.9. One of the problems with the 7.62 by 3.9 is it has a tapered case, and this causes issues, especially with your AR-15 style rifle, and because of the way the chamber is. So that is one of the reasons why a lot of guys are trying to look for a round that'll be a little more stable, and the 6.5 Grendel has really proven to be very exceptional. And you know, we have the other calibers, the 300 Blackout, the 6.8. I mean, there's a number of different calibers that have come out, but the Grendel seems to be really pulling ahead of a lot of those rounds. Of course, the subsonic capability of the 300 Blackout, you know, really gives that an advantage in a lot of other areas. But the 6.5 Grendel does not quite meet all the specs as the 308 NATO, whereas the 6.5 Creedmoor exceeds a lot of the ballistic capability of the 308. So you may ask, what is the 6.5 for? You know, it has a heavier bullet. We're talking about 120, 123 grain projectile, moving at about 24 to 2,500 feet per second. And that really gives a lot of ballistics. In fact, it actually outperforms the 308 up to about 1,000 yards with energy and with armored penetration. But the problem with the 6.5 Grendel to achieve that is it needs to have a longer barrel, and it needs to have a very heavy bullet. So, and these cartridges were made to fit in the AR-15, so it's going to be limited to that size. But the 6.5 Grendel performs well with medium-sized game, with varmints. White-tailed deer is a good example. And another big advantage of the 6.5 Grendel is the recoil pulse is much lighter than it is with the 308. Plus, if you're going to have it in an AR style rifle, this goes into your modern standard mil-spec rifle, whereas the 308 and the 6.5 Creedmoor need to go more toward the AR-10, which is much heavier and bigger. Now, one of the big factors in any new caliber purchase is ammo cost. I don't have any Wolf steel cased ammo here, but it runs $5.99 for a box of 20. And that's about as cheap as you can get for standard centerfire ammunition. But when you start getting into the brass, it can run up a little more. The Privy Partisan, they're running about $14 to $15 a box, which is standard for brass cased ammo. Your Hornady, and this is your match 123 grain, it's running about $20 a box. Now you get into the Federal American Eagle, and this is an open tip match 120 grain. Really superior accuracy on these. And this is running about $25 a box. So this is the most expensive out of the bunch, but really excellent ammo. Of course, the Hornady is good stuff as well. Accuracy at 100 yards, had group right here, one flyer, had one solid hole right here. Here again, pretty similar, one flyer, one decently little small hole. Started adjusting my scope, got it a little bit over, but again, and then here, right under. And this is actually a 3-shot group, 2 bullet holes in the same hole. And that was using the American Eagle 120 grain open tip match. Good stuff. And I want to thank Federal Premium for sending this ammunition. It really allowed me to really put this rifle through its paces. These boxes actually are just full of empty brass. The magazines, of course, from Alexander Arms, and that's the best place to order them. They typically have them in stock. The 4, the 10, and the 17 round magazine runs $17.95, and then your 24 round magazine runs $19.70. And of course, it's the size of the 30, but you're getting less because of the diameter of the cartridge. And as far as the prices on the other components from Odin Works, just go to Odin Works and you can check out all the different details at odinworks.com. One thing I did want to note that I just came across by accident is when you're leveling your scope with your mount, using these foam action sport rests, you're able to adjust it to get the right level. And I thought that was a pretty cool use for these rests. You'll need 2 of them, but just a great little handy thing to have around the shop. So far I've been very impressed with the 6.5 Grendel. We took one of the Howa mini action 6.5s and ran it through a lot of tests, and it just performed excellently with the semi-automatic version. And the Grendel, the 6.5 Grendel, is actually made for the AR-15 rifle, and it really performs here. So if you're looking to build a 6.5 Grendel, which I know a lot of guys are just from people that have contacted me, a lot of comments, especially on the Howa video, check out Odin Works. They have some really cool 6.5 Grendel accessories, barrel bolt carriers, and this really can take care of your 6.5 Grendel itch. Because guys, I'm telling you, this is an exceptional rifle. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America, long live the Republic. I'm also using 2A Armament Bastion Incorporated. What did they change their site to? We were getting right near the 2,500 feet per second, and we were getting between 200 and now we were getting over the